Yes. Hello and welcome to the Black Mind Podcast. My name is Jeff. Joining me this week is Josh. Hi, Josh.
Hey.
Joining me also this week is Allan, the person, the man, the myth, the legend.
What's up?
Totally. Yeah. So, this has been a really good week this week, I would say. A lot of good things have happened. I have a lot of things on my plate.
Oh.
Like that.
Like,
I also did a bunch of Maya editing and may or may not have ordered in a bunch of parts and stuff like that. Got a new motherboard in, and we might, I'm not saying we will, we might, because we have to talk about it with other members and stuff like that before we do anything. We might stream me failing to build a computer.
it'd be too hard. Well, you have just build up the static electricity in your hand, zap it, and then oh no! What happened?
I'm also doing a bunch of work and stuff like that, like for like other things right now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm kind of excited about that in all honesty, because like, man,
What, me building a computer?
yeah, no, I think I'd just sit down and watch you do that for a little while.
You would sit down and watch me build a computer and fail epically.
Yeah.
Allan has faith.
I mean,
I trust you. I trust you as far as I can throw you, which is not very far, but I trust you to fail at least.
Once you learn those jitsu throws, you can throw anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Eh.
yeah. I think you can make a pretty decent computer. Just, I don't know. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Josh,
don't rush it.
Yeah. It would be especially funny if Josh was like, we had Josh doing like something stupid off to the side.
Make paper airplanes, guys. I think this one works.
Just playing a game.
I think this one works, guys.
Josh and Linus play Halo for 3 hours straight.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not a stranger to Halo, and I could probably just push through it, but I'll be so fucking bored because I just want to care.
Yeah, you'd be hilarious to watch. Or Josh plays God of War.
That would be interesting because, like, I'll just make so many jokes of how he's just murdering everything for pointless reasons.
Actually, no, he doesn't.
Oh, not in the new one, no. I'm just saying for like the older ones, is like, how do you stop the cogs in this machine? Throw a perfectly innocent human into it. How about you get health when you're running up the stair steps? Kill everyone coming out of the building.
I mean,
like seriously, yeah.
I would have never thought of that process, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, no! It's this week's been weird for me.
Allan's decided that he.
I'm going back to work here soon, and I've gone through my orientation. I've gone through my health check and stuff like that, or the basic information checks like that. I've got my boots. I went over, got myself set up for my first aid course completely for Monday, Tuesday, and I've done all that stuff. But the thing is we got our orientation done, and we all, like me and some of the guys in the crew that I'm on, looked at each other like, so what do we want to bet that Jimmy's gonna call us like right after and tell us we're working next Friday? And it's just like, well, hey, it's Jimmy. That could happen. We're just like, oh, well, shit. But considering this year that they switched over to a weekly pay rate, which I still don't understand. I don't know why we'd switch over to a weekly pay rate, but hey. I guess I don't just understand the basic things.
Hmm.
I don't know. Someone didn't want to do work or want to do more work.
I like work. Work's good.
That's usually what it comes down to for like paying like, some schedule bullshit. It's like, oh, someone either didn't want to do the work or someone's just actually was on their shit. And that's about it. Yeah.
Mm.
So, who wants to go through a topic first?
Yeah, just so the audience knows, there really wasn't much like thought up for this week.
I don't think there's
played
much
Halo
thought.
Wars too.
I don't think. Oh yeah, Halo Wars. Yeah.
Josh played Divinity.
He's gonna be the weekly update on Divinity, like every goddamn week.
And what else happened? Jeff had a Maya project itself and then complained to Allan. And Allan, as usual, was unsympathetic as usual.
I was cold and logical about the situation, and I straight up looked at Jeff. It's like, Maya has a function that you can legit turn around, set it up to save every 15 to 30 minutes if you really, really need to.
It's funny because, like, usually, like, I'm really good about that stuff, and this time, like, I just fucked up horribly.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was my week. What also happened this week? Oh, I'm playing Sea of Thieves and more Destiny and more Zelda and more Mario Kart and Splatoon.
Nice.
Yes.
So how's the Sea of Thieves, by the way? Because I got a friend. Every time I talk to my friend of mine, when we're co-oping Divinity, he's like, "Oh, so in Sea of Thieves, I did this and this and this and this." I was like, "Uh huh." He did all these bullshit things he keeps doing to other people, and I'm like, "Thank God I'm not playing that game," because I have to run into you, just blowing up ships and friggin' just stealing everyone's shit. I mean, yeah, you're a pirate. That's what you're meant to do. But man, I'd be so pissed off. So pissed off.
Mm-hmm. It's fine. It's a game that really doesn't like holding your hand.
Yeah.
And it's a game that you should play with friends. I would recommend Game Pass, if anything.
Just so you can get it for, is it free?
Yeah, it's free for like 14 days, and then you can also what else can you do? You can also pay $9.99 a month and get all exclusives.
Mm.
And get all the games.
Exclusive Xbox title games. Oh boy.
Yep. And because Xbox is Play Anywhere now, you can play every game anywhere.
Yep, surprise.
A good solution.
I just kind of hope. Here's the thing. I've played this game. It's not fun. Well, it is fun as if you have a group of friends to play with. It's not fun on your own or like with only like another one person to play with. You need to be in a group of 4, and if you're not, well, that's the mistake.
Yeah, it's better if you're communicating and stuff like that.
Yep. On top of that, I have no pity for any Xbox player I run across whenever I play that game.
No pity at all?
Because I can't. I want your fucking loot. You're gonna fucking give it to me. You're gonna fucking die, and I don't care if you've got slight latency and stuff like that. I have it's just honestly, I have no
It's
very
trollers.
little.
I mean, you are a pirate, and you're meant to steal as much as you can and reap it in for yourself. But at the same time, oh god, this game is just terror. It's just there's no rest for the wicked in that thing.
No, there is no rest for the wicked. Money ain't growing on trees. They got bills to pay. They got lives to feed. Ain't nothing in this world comes for free.
Exactly.
They can't slow it down. They can't.
Well, yeah. What is that last lyric? I keep forgetting what that was.
I forgot it too. I just was like, I know the song. Ain't no rest for the wicked. Money ain't growing on trees. Got bills to pay, mouths to feed. Ain't nothing in this world for free. I can't slow down. I can't slow down.
And I really wish I could.
Yeah, and I really
There we
wish-
go. We did it.
Yeah.
We got the most important part. It was singing out the lyrics. To fucking
Yeah.
Keach the
But,
elephant.
like, it's just such like it's like somebody who was like, oh, let's make a game that's all like player motivated and motivation, and it's like, oh, okay, like I understand then like what they do and stuff like that. I understand all the criticisms, but I just don't think that like don't think that like it's like a bad game. I don't understand the criticism. I understand.
It's a good game, but it definitely needs to be like, I don't know. If you're playing by yourself, maybe
Oh,
it's
don't.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like, well, you're always going to have people who are just playing by themselves, but it's like, well, how do you even cater to those people if you make this certain aspect of the game that has to be with other players that have fun, and you hooking up with randos usually is a recipe for disaster. So it's like, well, this usually just doesn't work. Although I have a buddy of mine who, again, the same buddy, he plays through that entire game like just by himself, trolling so many people and getting away with it. It's so absurd. I'm just really wondering how he's even getting away with half of the shit he's doing.
Because it can, and it's very easy in this game.
Like,
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. Like, man, I've played, I think, like for a full week and 2 weeks when it came out, and there's no content in this fucking game.
No, there isn't.
It's actually kind of frustrating because like it looks so fun. It looks like there should be like AI pirates just fucking running around, and you should have fucking ship battles with them, but there's not. And like, it's kind of frustrating.
Frustrating and not in a good way. Yeah. Although the one thing I did like, whenever I go to the friend's place and see the game work is, man, the waves look nice.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful looking game.
Like, that's the thing about it. It's like, it looks good, but man, everything's just not it's just not there. And you kind of ponder to yourself, did they just push this game out the door so they can sell it? Like,
That kind
really?
of is kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, because, like, holy shit, if this was just in the cooker for, like, a year, like, that doesn't have to be that much content in there. Just something could make it so much better. Just nothing. Like, oh, shit. Or, if anything, I think Microsoft kind of wanted to maybe, like, oh, this game's in early access for a year. And they think they probably wanted to do that, but they don't have their own platform to even do that, other than going through Steam, and they don't want to go through Steam. They're fucking Xbox.
I think that Xbox really doesn't care anymore.
That too. Just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. The game will get updates. It'll slowly get better.
Yeah, well, like that's the thing, right?
Hopefully, I really do hope that it goes real quick and just gets fucking. Like, I've heard rumors of them putting in new stuff in and stuff like that, but
I mean,
the fight with the Kraken, I fought the Kraken, and it was my like within the first hour of me playing this game, and we fucking rocked it. It really isn't all that impressive a fight. The Kraken should be like a panic struggle that should be like hard for everyone to survive, but it isn't. It's actually fairly easy.
Yeah, I heard that. And also, what was it? You defeat the Kraken, and you don't really get like a loot item or anything. It's just you defeated it. Yay! We didn't die, I guess. Yay! Is there supposed to be a loot drop for this? No. Yay!
That's another thing that pisses me off. The fucking Kraken doesn't drop anything.
You think you get like a tentacle or an eyeball or some shit, but no.
No.
Even like, let's say it's not even an item that makes you like do anything, but it's like, hey, this is now on your ship permanently forever. Like you have the tentacle arm on your ship, and it's like, ooh, this guy defeated the Kraken. He has a tentacle arm on his ship.
Oh boy, I like Krakens.
Like that could be like a thing right there, and they didn't bother to do it. Like, oh boy.
There's a lot of missed opportunities in this fucking game. It's actually kind of frustrating. It's like to the point where it's like, holy shit! Like you've missed so many golden fucking opportunities with this game.
Yeah.
And like personally, I'm hoping to all gods above that we finally get fucking like actually proper fucking gameplay here soon, because like the combat is stale and boring. The only interesting thing in this game is ship to ship combat, and you won't get that very often.
Oh yeah.
I like the idea of the Skull Island stuff, although while I do agree that it should be available to everyone, and everyone's going to show up there in a galleon. I've only seen Sloop show up there once before, and it's fucking funny.
Yeah, that's another thing, is like it's really hard to gauge who, like, you get shoved into a server and you kind of hope that like, you know, there be some people in it, but not a lot of people, so you can at least get some shit done. But I have a friend of mine who goes through it, says like sometimes he either gets a lot of people or no people, which is kind of odd. You think it'd just be an even mishmash of like, oh, here's 2 or 3 people, oh, here's 2 or 3 people, oh, here's a lot of people, like just barely anything. Maybe the worlds are really huge or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, it just kind of feels.
Actually, what makes it even more frustrating for me about this game is it does lack like the servers are huge, and I will freely admit that, and the world is huge, and I will freely admit that. But doing like some of the quests, they're boring, they're tedious, the rewards aren't worth it. And I've seen people like fucking power through this game, get 1,000,000 fucking gold, earn like all these things, fight off the Pirate King and stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, that's great and all, but this game has such a lack of content. It kind of feels frustrating. And like, I feel more like this game was meant to be like a quick in, which isn't a problem. Personally, I have no problem with that. That it could be a hell of a lot worse. But at the same time,
just should have been in the oven more often.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, speaking about ovens.
Yeah, speaking about ovens, Halo 5 is okay.
You've played Halo 5 finally, eh?
Or Halo Wars 2.
There we go. Halo 5 is an okay game at best. I will freely admit that. It really is only an okay game at best.
It's fine. It's serviceable.
They need to fucking. But Halo Wars 2. What are you gonna say about it?
It's the best game ever. Is the best strategy game I played that has Halo in it. But the problem with it is it does a Halo 5 at the end.
Yep. I don't disagree with that. I do agree that like that is.
It's like, hey, Guardians come in, and it's like, oh, cool. Guardians were cool, I guess.
I do kind of hope that Halo, when they do finally come out with fucking Halo 6, they fucking nail it out of the fucking park. But
it's the same problem that Halo Wars 2, Halo 4 had, where it needs a little bit more time in the oven.
Well, Halo 4 had it. Halo 5 needed the fucking more time in the oven. Halo 5 needed like another year in the oven, and it would have been great. Halo Wars 2 was kind of a like the reason why I loved it is because I loved Halo Wars, and I freely admit that. But at the same time, I look at the situation related to Halo Wars 2 and how it even actually just straight up came to be. I have never been so happy to see it come out of fucking left field like it did. Because when it initially got announced, I was like, holy shit, Halo Wars 2. And then I saw how it was being produced. I was like, yes, this is gonna be great. And then I played it and I'm like, it's okay. It's fantastic. Actually, it's fantastic because it stays true to the original game. The only problem I had with it was like how some of the AI was set up.
Mhm.
But
I would
at
agree
the
with
same
that.
time, but at the same time, I think I know what you're going to complain about, though. But I don't want to spoil it.
I would agree with that sentiment. The one thing I think that it needs more. The one thing it needs more to do is it needs more. What does it need? It needs more like. It just doesn't end well. Like it goes like literally to like the final mission and then it just ends and it's like, oh, that was it. That was that climax. Okay.
I actually I get the like. Here's the thing. So there is actually like an additional campaign built in.
Yeah. The Awaken.
The Awakening, which is I think set during the crisis with Atriox and Captain Cutter, or just a little bit after, or a little bit before. And I haven't played it yet, but it looks fun. I love the fact what they've done with the Flood and how they've like done it in such an interesting way. But at the same time, I'm not super worried about how the style of work is done for it. And I do agree with you that the climax was kind of meh. I do love the fucking final fight though, of just sitting down and you're like, I'm just gonna keep dropping in troops whenever I get the fucking chance to, because holy shit, I have no population cap, so I'm just going to fucking drop everything I can to hold ground as often as I can.
Kill everything. That's the motto, right? The Halo, kill everything. Ask questions later.
What makes it really funny is with Halo Wars, I love the fact that everybody's like, well, Halo is like you're basically committing genocide in this multicultural society. It's like, no, you are literally fighting for survival. I love that. But
Yeah.
at the same time, with how Halo Wars is done with this one, it's actually like the factions you're fighting are actually like surprisingly tough. I would have liked if what they could have done is they could have done.
Mhm.
I feel like what they could have done with Halo Wars 2 is they could have put in 2 more factions and the game would have been perfect.
It really feels like that. Like
Because I like the idea of like specific commanders for both factions. All they needed to do was do the Swords of St. Helios to be the equivalent of the UNSC for the Arbiter and stuff like that as a faction for him. And what they could have done is the Covenant proper for the other ones, where they bring in the old Brute Chieftain, the Arbiter from Halo Wars, and the Prophet Mercy, and stuff like that, and they bring that in and just set that up like for like the campaign for that like side, not even like related to the game. You just put those 2 in as like these are 2 other factions you can fight, where like the Swords of St. Helios are like actually like incredibly elite army, but like their units are like very limited strength and number because they're so elite. Whereas the Covenant is the old traditional Covenant we get from back in old Halo Wars and old Halo and stuff like that.
see, I would have liked it more if it was like Covenant, Flood, UNSC.
That's the thing with the Flood situation. I can't agree with that. The Flood doesn't have enough things.
They have enough
No, they don't.
little things. Yeah, they do.
They
No,
have.
there's like
It's just like
They're-
a Zerg swarm. Like it's the Zerg swarm faction.
But that's the problem with that is, like, for the Zerg swarm to work for the Flood is the fact that you need to have all the little like infections ones, and you've got combat form, carrier form, infection form. You've got the 3 types of pure forms. You've got the primordial form. What else is there? And I
Good
know for a
point.
fact that in Awakening they introduced a few more. I can't remember what they're called. And on top of that, you would only have a hive. You'd have no like super like great structures and stuff like that. And that's the reason why I don't think the flood would be all that great of a thing. I feel like what they should have done is the Covenant, the Remnant, or is it the Remnant or is it what are they? What is Atriox's?
Exiles.
Yeah, well, Exiles, whatever they are. The UNSC, and I don't know, Swords of saying Helios or Oni. Oni
Yeah.
would have been fucking cool, but at the same time, Oni would have been fucking terrifying.
Oni would have been very hilarious.
Welcome to the Black Mind Podcast, where it's actually really quiet this week because we're all like,
It's weird. It's almost like we tried to record at 7 and then couldn't.
It's like someone here just forgot what time it was, and he's meant to do something important, and he just blew it off because he's like, "Fucking Magic Gathering, man, that's got a great thing."
I'm gonna play Magic. I like Magic. Glad to
Yeah.
hear that you like Magic all of a sudden again, Josh.
Yeah. Then
I saw the start of a tournament today, and I was like, "Geez, I'm happy I got out of that. I'm happy I was never actually involved in that."
too late because I sorta involved. I mean, I enjoy it and I get to play some card games and shit, but now I'm getting to a point of like I play in these very specific formats and everything else goes to fucking everything else just goes to shit. I don't care. Because really there's like your mainstays is like your modern, your standard, your draft, and there's sealed. And that's usually for pre-releases and stuff like that. And for me, I just go to sealed, and sometimes I go to modern, not very often. And their standard, I never ever get into because that's way too expensive. And everyone's always trying to get that good shit, and it's just near impossible to get the good shit unless you pay through the nose for it. And then there's booster draft, which, hey, it's booster draft is booster draft. It's like, you try to pick the best card you can out of the pack. You pass it along. You do this over and over with 3 packs. And every time I play, I pick the most terrible shit possible because it's either A, you're trying to make a deck that specifically works in a specific way, or you're just rare drafting. Like, you get expensive cards, but you lose every time. Like, every time. Unless it's
all the time.
All the time. So guess what I'm doing? I'm rare drafting all the time. So I don't really get the decent first pick of any pack. So I'm like, what's the rare? It's like $50? Ah, fuck it. But it doesn't help your deck. You're playing white green. It's black. Fuck it. It's $50.
$50.
I need the money.
Need that money.
I'm poor.
No, you're not. You're not that poor.
Oh, I'm not that poor. If I'm not careful about my spending, I can get there.
Yeah. No, I can't help but giggle about the fact that the way that Magic's been recently.
Mm-hmm.
I can't look at Magic the same anymore. Back when I used to play it, it was like a lot of this has been tainted about the fact that like a lot of things that have come up over the past like 6 months alone with what happens with Magic, and I'm just like, I don't know if Wizards deserves my money anymore. Which is why I only buy singles now.
And that's why that's another thing is like, yeah, singles is always cheaper. Like always, just go with the single. And for me, it's I'll go to a sealed because it's fun environment. I like going to a sealed, and you get some cool shit before like a week advanced. And actually in the new set of Dominaria, they actually changed the card stock to a Japanese card stock, which means.
So, in response to that, I'm actually going to say something I saw today. And I was hanging out with Christina, a friend who works at a card store and stuff like that. And I'm looking at one of the cards, and I just looked at it, and it's not even a foil card. It's just a card in a box of uncommons, and I pull it out, and I just like, I see this is still a problem, and it's bent. Not bent like, oh, somebody bent it. No, it's curled. And like Chris is like, yeah, that's been a problem for like the past couple months. I'm like, wow, surprise, surprise. The Magic community online's been in nothing but a uproar about that. And she's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Like that
And
was the previous
I-
sets.
I actually still don't think Dominaries fixed the problem.
I
'Cause
think
this
they
was-
have, because I have like a bunch of foils on my right on my at my hands here, and they haven't freaking twisted or twisted on themselves or anything.
The thing is for me with the cards is I remember playing back in Ravnica, like the
Yeah.
new Ravnica.
Yeah.
I all my cards from Ravnica still haven't bent.
Oh, yeah.
So I will say give it a month. If the cards don't bend, whether they're a foil or not, because this was not a foil uncommon. This was just a regular uncommon.
Oh no, dude, I straight up open up a pack of cards from the last couple sets, and I get a foil card coming out of the pack, and it's already twisted, like
Bent.
or bent or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's just like, well, you're gonna fucking put in a sleeve anyways and shove it in a big tight box. So
A lot of people have actually had a problem with that. Is what makes it even funnier related to we're gonna just you're gonna stuff it in a sleeve and just keep it in there and it's gonna fix it like that. So when they were showing off the fact that there's a new thing that's going on with the is that like they're showing off the new set and in the background with this like the live stream, you can see this stack of books on top of this stack of cards that they're trying to make flat. And I'm just like, there's a problem. They aren't addressing the problem. They need to address the problem.
yeah,
And they're trying, and I will freely admit that Wizards of the Coast is trying, but Wizards of the Coast has the problem of not knowing how to fix the fucking problem.
I don't think Wizards of the Coast is capable of fixing the problem.
no, they don't.
I think that honestly, like, this one has gotten away from them.
Wizards been having a lot of problems with how they've been doing stuff recently over the past 4 years. As much as I like D&D 5th edition, fuck man, holy shit, is it fucking retarded now?
It does get to like a big point of like, who's making these worst decisions over and over again? Is it the people you're hiring? Is it the people from higher ups above saying you have to do this? Like, who's making these main decisions here? Like, someone's losing sight of what the hell they're supposed to do. And I have a feeling that maybe Hasbro is also they have their fingers in this shit, but I have no idea.
I don't think it's Hasbro. I don't think it's just Hasbro. I think it's a bigger problem.
Hasbro has been getting fucked by this. Like, any stocks that are related to Wizards of the Coast have dropped 20.
Oh boy.
Like, 20 points, and that's a lot. And it's just like, because the community that they're like, oh yeah, like, look at these things and da-da-da-da. As much as I love the fact that like all these people are like trying to do their job, the problem isn't like the production staff and stuff like that. It's fucking HR in that company.
Oh
it
yeah,
really
totally.
is.
Totally.
Because we must be inclusive, diverse, and accepting of everyone.
Guess where you're at now, motherfucker. It doesn't work.
It really doesn't. Surprise,
like-
ladies and gentlemen, trying to be diverse and inclusive just for the sake of diverse and inclusive actually fucking harms you, doesn't help you. Just remember that.
Pretty much. Like hell, I think somewhere in our Canadian army and police might be like hindered because of that, but whatever.
Yeah, no, it's just, oh man. Some days I just can't help but fucking just.
Yeah,
Well, it's
don't
like
worry.
It's like this show, right? Like, we're a diverse group of people made up of diverse opinions, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
And like I would say there and say that like this is a benefit of us. Like, we have been very much.
But you don't have a black guy, and you don't have a female. You don't have a black female.
You don't have a
you,
gay,
we
you
have
don't
them
have a,
all.
you don't have a gay guy. You don't have a bi guy. We have one. We
You're
have a
right.
black. We have a
You're
black
right.
guy.
We don't because you know what? We invite people that we want to invite on.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. It's like
Well,
we
I'm
invite
gonna
people.
boycott your show.
then you're more than welcome to be on the show. Like, you'll probably be a hilarious episode because it will probably be a hilarious train wreck, if I'm honest.
God, yeah,
Like-
of course it would be.
Yeah, but it's like I'm not going to sit there and say no.
Or freaking, it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the train wreck like the interview of, what was it? It was the fat guy video game reviewer.
Jim Sterling.
Yeah, Jim Sterling with that game developer that was nuts.
Oh God.
What's this?
Like, there was an interview that he had with the game developers, and the game developers are like, "Oh, we've been treating our games unfairly and blah blah blah," but their games are just shovelware, left and right shovelware. They're so bad.
Let me put it like
And-
this. You know how my model looks, Allan?
yeah.
It looked
And
better.
like,
Your
and
models are better.
I would
Your
say
models
like
are so much better.
they are. They're
Wow.
better.
Yeah. So
Oh no! I actually. Okay, so here's the thing. I can respect Jim Sterling for his opinion. He's a fucking cuck, and I mean that in the most literal fucking sense.
oh yeah, but anyway,
Holy
just
shit, dude!
But just to say, like, I was saying, like, you had an interview with these game devs, and the game devs just made no fucking sense at all. Like, they didn't know where they were or who they're talking to.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just like, who are these people? Are they constantly on drugs, like, all the time?
It's like the game production studios of the world are no longer in contact with their fucking audience.
Except
It
that,
really
like,
is.
you
It
know,
fucking
except,
is.
except
Are
you know
these
that there
people-
are some
is.
that out there, like,
Or those people are so evil that they're like, if we just keep going nuts, they won't suspect that we're just evil.
No, I won't disagree with that. No, what makes it all the more frustrating with like fucking, like, I won't lie, I like Jim Sterling for some of his opinions. Some of them are fucking phenomenal. They are like top-notch opinions.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's a fucking tool. Holy shit, he's a tool.
I stopped caring about Jim Sterling when he said
No,
when
when he made
said-
fun of fucking, he stood against fucking Gamergate. That was a thing for me when I.
that
'Cause I
wasn't a
wasn't
big thing.
For me, it wasn't a super big thing when it initially started happening because I was like, whatever, let people do what people do. And then, like, within the year of me learning about it, I was kind of like I stayed on the fence for the most part because I just wasn't 100% sure how I wanted to stand or go for it because of how it was set out. And I heard his opinions about things that were going on, and I was like, no, Jim, stop, Jim. Okay, Jim, I'm not listening to you anymore because holy fuck.
I would
And
say
I-
I would say that the reason, like, I understand a lot of people's opinion on Gamergate, and I understand that not everyone can agree with me and stuff like that about what happened, but like at the end of the day, it's like, okay, it happened. What can you learn from it? And that's the thing I think that nobody in the media has done really is said, what can we learn from this? What did we do wrong? And how can we prevent it from happening again? And I don't think a lot of people have done that.
Yep.
And that I think is the big issue here is that, like, because you see it in articles all the time, is like people being like, Gamergate.
Man,
It's like, okay.
there are people who are in the from the fucking old school media who are still fucking upset about fucking Gamergate. It's fucking glorious. You know you won a war when the mainstream media still like has this fucking knife sticking out of their back, and it's just like you can twist it ever so gently just by mentioning the word. Oh,
They didn't just lose. They didn't lose per se. They just were like so cocky and stuff like that. They were like, how could we lose? And then they've still been losing.
Yep. Now, another thing that made me fucking giggle even harder about, like, okay, well, we gotta get off this topic because we're starting to fucking ramble. Holy fuck.
Welcome to Ramblecast.
Yeah, this is gonna be a ramblecast, I think.
Mhm.
But I want to try and get us back on topic because we're fucking going way, like, there's a difference between ramblecast and then there's like what we're doing right now. We're like,
well, Well, I mean, we can ramble on and on about Super Troopers.
Super
Yeah,
Troopers
well, I
2.
haven't seen it yet. I haven't even seen the original Super Troopers.
Super
You haven't seen the
Troopers.
original? Oh, because I would say the second one is a little more cartoony. Because I've seen the first one. I only seen it once. And I do remember seeing this movie, and it was like it's kind of based in realism, if you would call it that, because it's all about like, what if cops were still in college and they're still doing pranks and shit like that? That's
Yeah.
basically the premise of this movie. And but they somehow save the day and stop a drug dealer, pushing money through the border or some shit. And basically in the first one, it's like, yeah, they stop a drug dealer and they saved the day. And it's like, hooray! But they also did a whole bunch of dumb, stupid shit while trying to solve this mystery. In the second movie, same concept, but they're actually like they're also kind of doing little jabs of like the first movie, and they're also like uh basically like they got their jobs back because they've killed someone beforehand purely by accident. And they made references to this, but they never fully said what it was or how it or why this said person died until like at the end of the movie. They just showed the clip and it was like, okay, that's fine. But yeah, it's like the premise of the first movie is just kind of the same thing as the second movie. It's just that like all these guys lost their jobs, they got back on the job, and it turns out the plot of this movie is, hey, it turns out the border stones where we divided the United States and Canada from Ontario or something, like through Ontario, it actually curves up and around. So this chunk of land is actually United States land. And so basically these guys got rehired just to be like, hey, you gotta, refix all the highways, say hello to all the folks who live in these small towns, and like just try to be friendly and be not douchebags, because they're gonna be turning into Americans. And it's like, well, that sucks, but I guess, it's got all these legal, they have these people who have to go legal bullshit, but they're like, well, that's weird, but hey, we got a job back. And and basically it's just a lot of misadventures of how this team, there's like basically this one guy in this entire team, like everyone's normal, everyone's kind of like, oh, this guy's supposed to be the rookie, but he's older and he's not the rookie anymore, and this guy's still that like guy with a mustache and he's Monchismo. And there's these two other guys that's pretty much like, oh, they're pretty funny. And there's one guy named Lars, or actually I think I'm saying his name wrong. He's got like a funky last name, and he's just like the most annoying prick you could ever think of.
That sounds like somebody I know.
Yeah, so no, but I'm like, once you see in a movie, you could probably be like, oh, so it's this guy, and it's like he thinks he's all that in a bag of chips, and he's clearly an empty bag of chips that's full of shit and full of shit and candy. Like,
Are you talking about Farva?
yeah, there we go. That's his name, Farva.
Yeah, he's
like,
talking about Farva.
Because, like, Farva is like, man, this guy doesn't realize what he's doing, and he's just a cartoon character at this point. It's like, he's thinking he's so, like, fucking, like, beefy and strong and all this stuff, but he's just a fat loser, like, and somehow a cop. So it's like, okay, whatever. For some reason, he completely escaped my mind while watching the movie, because it was like, I don't remember the character at all. I remember all the other guys. I don't remember him, which is kind of weird because he was also kind of important in the other films. So I don't know how my mind just blanked him out. I think it was just too much of a prick. But yeah, like the movie's pretty decent. The only thing I would say is like the first movie was somewhat realistic because I think they had a low budget for that first film, and then in the second film, I think they had a Kickstarter or some shit, so they have a lot more money to just kind of throw around. So they had like special effects, and they had one scene they got chased by a bear, and all this freaking shit that happened in this film. And it's like, okay, this, I can tell where they threw all their money at this film. At the same time, it's like there's some cartoony shit that happened in the film that it goes like, I'm not sure how I feel about this. Like, I thought it was kind of like going to be semi-realistic with them doing pranks and shit, but it was like, well, it's a stoner film, so of course they're going to do all this shit because they have a lot more money to throw around.
Mm-hmm.
I think that my big complaint of that is there was, what was that one point in the film? Oh, they were trying to. Oh, the the gunfight in the film. That the one and only gunfight they have in the film is like, you can tell the flashes are just not real, and you can tell like this fight scene would have been way done way faster if they actually aimed properly. But like, oh, whatever, it's fine. Um, anything? Can I say anything about the movie or like the plot? I guess I guess
can.
yeah, it's like I guess like yeah, I talked about the plot, and it's like it's it's nothing wrong with it. All the characters come back, and they're all like kind of dipshits slash funny dudes, so it works out. Um, and one thing that's funny, actually, one thing that was interesting is not only they bring back all of the original cast, they brought back their senior officer for like from the first movie, brought him back into the second movie, and it's like, and this guy's a grandpa at this point. Even him like pointed to a bunch of jokes of saying he's a senior. It's like, yeah, he's like fucking 70 or whatever at this point. I'm surprised he's in this movie. It's like, geez, you think it would just say no, but well, whatever, you got a paycheck. Um, what else to say about it? It's just a stereotypical comedy. Like it's exactly the same thing as the first film. I feel it's like if you don't mind the first film, see the second film.
Okay, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Although, I have heard from a few people, from another person just recently that it's an okay movie for the most part.
Like there's nothing spectacular.
There's nothing spectacular. Yeah, that's what they said. Is there's nothing spectacular, nothing super over the top, but they have like it has spot on humor apparently for the most part.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's another thing. It's like the way they portrayal of French Canadians and like the Canadian isms.
Personally, I would like to fuck a moose.
Yeah, and
Fuck,
there's
man.
yeah. I'd rather fuck a moose. You would need like a step ladder. Yeah, I'll get a step ladder and then fuck the moose.
Personally, I would like to fuck a moose.
And yeah, there's like basically like all. The funny thing with any Canadian, like especially if you like just go around like any Canadian who's like, hey, what sort of Canadian TV shows do you like, and what sort of like media that you like that if it would point out Canadian isms you would watch, and it's like, oh, we watch like Corner Gas or whatever, or the Little Mosque on the Prairie, because like it shows that Canadian lifestyle of like, oh, we're everyone's nice. You just get in that weird awkward situation and you just go through it. And in this movie, it's like, oh, it does show these Canadian isms, but to the most extreme degree possible.
You mean like most stereotypes?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like even the went out of their way of how the police officer said sorry. And it's like this one little section of the movie. It was like, wow, they really went out of their way of like how we say certain words and shit. And it's like, I'm surprised this movie's written this way, but whatever, it's fine.
No, that's the thing is, I love fucking movies that just play off stereotypes like no nonstop. Like that was the reason why I like the old like the Dukes of Hazzard fucking movie that came out like years ago. I giggled at it because like I got the stereotypes of fucking rednecks and fucking like the most stereotypical loudmouth black people, and like it's so great because like, man, they're fun and funny and fantastic, and you need to realize that like if you can't laugh at these stereotypes, then you can't laugh at anything. But what makes it all the better for me, the fact that you think this is a good movie to go see, is the fact that Infinity War also came out today. Which means this movie is going to be criminally underseen, so you're gonna go to see it in basically like empty theaters.
Oh yeah, I've seen it like a day after when that movie came out, and even then, that's kind of like half the seats were filled.
Yep.
So I'm like, ooh, oh boy,
it's not gonna do well, and I feel really bad for them because they got fucking they're gonna get fucking ramrodded by Avengers are gonna walk up behind them and just growl, "Boy, bend over," and it's not gonna be a pretty sight at all. It's gonna be like
Infinity War said, "We need to shave your balls," and
Super Trooper is like, "What?" And then there was a loud zip, and then Infinity War happens. Apparently,
Yep.
Infinity War is fucking phenomenal. Apparently, it's like if you love the MCU, you're going to fucking love this movie. And I'm okay with the the MCU for the most part. But at the same time, I'm kind of excited because apparently the fucking ending is like a fucking like everybody who's seen the movie has been like, no, go see this movie. No, go see this movie. It's fucking
I
fantastic.
kind of am not excited for Infinity Ward.
Hey, well, I'm gonna see if me, Rory, and a few other people are gonna be able to go either tomorrow or Sunday. Do you want to come?
I can probably do Sunday.
All right, I'll see you with Rory and them when they're done. Because man, I kind of want to see it really badly now because
I just
understand that there's a hype behind it because of fucking Black Panther. Because Black Panther, surprise, was an okay movie that I like for plot point for reasons I have a lot of questions about, but at the same time I'm like it's okay. It makes you feel like for the movie for good reasons, but at the same time you're like okay, I will just carry on my wayward son moments. But at the same time I do excuse Black Panther because like it Black Panther was a fucking ambitious movie for what it fucking represents, and mostly because of what the word Black Panther means to the fucking rest of the world outside of the fucking comic universe. Fucking bunch of terrorists.
Black Panther was a good feel-good movie.
I would argue that like it was an okay movie that it had some problems with it, and like a lot of the problems were like common sense problems, like straight up like one of the scenes is the villain of the movie comes up to like one of the leaders of Wakanda with the head of the fucking other villain of the movie and just the body of the other guy and just tosses the body, and instead of asking questions like where did you get this, how did you do it, how do you know where we are and stuff like that, he takes some he fucking man, that should like that for me. If I was a character in that world and that happened, and I know for a fact that it's like, and I would have just immediately asked the king, like, well, how did the man escape? Oh, well, there's black man who just like another man, and the moment I would see that kid, he's like, that's the reason why that guy got away, and like, boom, plot's over. There's no point for it. Warmonger is now in jail permanently because he just helped a wanted criminal escape. But like again, like it had contrariness, or it had like incidents for the sake of it had moments of stupidity for the sake of stupidity, and like I can forgive it, but at the same time, it's I don't know about this. What are you doing, boy?
Yeah. Everyone's now talking about how God of War is the greatest game ever made.
Okay, I will freely admit I don't think it's the greatest game ever made. I want to fucking play it. It looks fucking amazing. The gameplay looks fucking solid. I do disagree with some people about some points because apparently there's fucking boss rushes in the game. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently, and for a fact, I've heard Angry Joe rant about this, and I disagree with him on it because he argues that boss rushes are just fucking people trying to, the game developers trying to pad out the game, and I'm like, no, like boss rushes can be fun because if they're side quest things for boss rushes and stuff like that, they can be fucking phenomenal. But like if they're anything else, no. It's kind of the reason why I really don't like people who say boss rushes are a bad thing. Boss rushes can be fun if they're done properly. And from what I've seen about God of War is it's solid. It like the combat's solid, the story's solid. People have complained that you have to backtrack at times and people get like really annoyed with that. I disagree with that because like it and like how it's just written and how it's set up is actually like fantastic. I love the voice acting for some of the characters, but I will freely say I love Norse mythology, and as much as I like the fact that God of War has gone to the Norse mythology, and I know that this is meant to be like them playing like, yeah, all gods are assholes, don't trust the gods kind of thing, as per usual, and they even bring up the fact that like the Egyptian pantheon exists, the Celtic pantheon exists, the the Greek pantheon did exist. There's also the Japanese pantheon that exists. They actually like reference them in game, and I'm like, oh please, make
God
that a
of War
thing.
Japan. Oh
God
boy.
God of War Egypt. Could you imagine? Oh my God, that's like 20 gods right there. Japan
What-
has like 300. I wouldn't want to go anywhere near. God of War, fucking Hinduism. Oh my word.
I want God of
Oh.
War. Oh God, what is that? Ancient civilization that with temples and jungles.
Maya.
The Maya.
They make reference. They make reference to the Mayans too. And I'm like, what? All because one god traveled around the world and like interacted with other gods and stuff like that from the Norse mythology. And I'm like,
Huh.
that's a great way to do it. Except for the fact that I'm looking at the god that they chose, which is Tyr, who is the god of war and justice and honor in Norse mythology. Because what happens, he's also known as the one-handed god. Because his big story was he was so honorable, so noble that Fenrir, the wolf that would consume the heavens and destroy the world and stuff like the wolf that would destroy like world and stuff like that, it like is put to a challenge of that, like they say that he can't break out of this red thread, and and the wolf's like, all right, fine. But you have to have one of your people has to like promise me something. And Tyr steps forward and says, I will put my hand in your mouth if you feel like you've cheated us. If you feel like we cheated you. And so what the gods have done is like they've enchanted the ropes and they tie him up and they nail him down. And like Fenrir tries to break out and he can't get out. So in a fit of rage, he bites off Tyr's hand, making him the one-handed god of justice and honor. So he's not mad at Fenrir. He's like, no, you can be. It's fair to be fucking mad, but still, dick move, man. Still, dick move. And they change like a lot of things, and I'm at the same time, I'm okay with the things that, but like the moment they introduce a character named Mimir, and Jeff knows my little fucking ramblings about this one earlier. I was watching the game, somebody play the game, and they find Mimir as a full body person, and I'm like, hold up, timeout, what? If Tyr is gone and Thor and all these people are still around and stuff like that, like Thor's around at this point, Mimir should just be a head. And then promptly in that scene, Mimir gets his head chopped off, and I'm like, well, okay, there's that answer. And stuff happens with Mimir, and it's just I love the look of the game. I love the fact that I know this like the actual mythology behind it, and I want to play it just because like I can go like, no, like this happens, but I understand why they did it this way. This happens, I understand why it happens this way in this game, because they're trying to make it like compelling and interesting to play against. And they do point out the fact that there are all the other pantheons, and they are all connected. They're just in they are in one giant world. It's just they are distant, like really distant from each other.
It's just that they're far away.
Yeah, like for the 9 realms, like, and that's a big point about like Norse mythology is there's 9 realms. There's Asgard, Midgard, Niflheim, Svartalfheim, the land where the other god cast comes from, Jotunheim, Jotun, Hasselheim, and stuff like that. Like all the 9 realms and stuff like that are like all interconnected, and they are actually just one realm. Just they're 9 realms that are just in the same space in different planes of existence. And it's done like I'm like that's phenomenal. I love how they've done this, but at the same time, I get a feeling that if I play through it now that I've been watching Jacksepticeye power through this game, and I'm loving him, I really do love him. I fucking love watching Jack play this. But at the same time, I'm like, God damn it, Jack, stop doing the X thing. Stop doing X thing. And it's just actually like, some days.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. But that's the good thing of today. We're going to talk about a bad thing real quick before we go into...
What are we talking about, bud?
So North Korea and South Korea are talking.
Hooray!
Yeah, no, they're actually trying to do proper peace talks and unification talks, from what I've heard.
We want people. Let me tell you this: it's never going to happen. There's
No,
always going to be a North and South Korea. No, no,
I
no. Let me
think
finish.
no. Go ahead. I will
They
counter
don't.
this.
I don't think South Korea wants to incur a bunch of infrastructure costs.
Okay, so
But I can
here's
see them being peaceful and treating each other like
okay.
one Korea.
The
But they're
way I've seen this happening is the fact that for sure Russia and America are going to get involved, and of course China and Japan are going to get involved as well, because and it's going to be a six country conference about what's going on between like these people. The thing is, considering that Russia, America, and even Japan are all starting to are getting along phenomenally now, I think they're going to push for a fact of no, North Korea needs to dissolve. You guys need to become one country again, because this is getting ridiculous. We will help both of you guys slowly meld in together. And China will drag its feet, but China's actually the country that like looks at North Korea and goes, "We look after them. We don't want to keep looking after them." They're more like, "We're done." Like they've been kind of like looking at North Korea and going like, "Well, what do we do about them now?" And
Throw him
I'm
in the dumpster.
I I pray to the gods above that they solve the fucking problem that is North Korea, and they actually full on accept the fact that like it's time for that to fucking go away and end, so we don't have a fucking war with North Korea. And Jeff got me earlier ranting about what happened in Syria and stuff like that.
well.
But if he wants to talk about it after we finish the podcast, I can.
Well, like it's a lot of little things.
Yeah, like honestly, I hope the talks go well. I think they're going to go way better than the talks in 1990, when Russia still had a very heavy Soviet influence and America was still very much anti-Soviet, because they were still like, well, what's going on with Russia? We're keeping an eye on it, stuff like that, and nothing got done. Absolutely nothing got done, and it was really actually frustrating to watch. But hopefully this time stuff will get done. I hope at least that there's an armistice to fucking sign, and that it leads to the peace treaty, and then finally over a couple, like maybe another decade or so, that it goes to unification of North Korea and South Korea. But at the same time, I for a fact understand why it might not. Who knows?
Yeah, might be
I
a
just
little-
hope one day that I can travel there and not to have to worry about if I can get back.
I don't know why you want to travel. Well, okay, actually, no, I can understand why. Actually, it's really funny because actually, it's what makes it even funnier is I remember watching like an interview of people talking about going to being near the North Korean like border zone, and like somebody made a joke of like, well, what happens if we get lost? And it's like, we're leaving you behind because we're not getting fucking caught by the North Koreans. Because if you get lost and you go across the side of North Korean, the North Koreans are going to fucking jail you and send you to a fucking slave camp. And like they are, it's just so like I'm like terrified of North Korea, because it's like it is what communism becomes. It is this monstrously disgusting like system and ideology. But I hope to the gods above that the peace treaty actually gets fucking finished and actually goes through. They settle their scores and it starts to lead down the path of like reunification and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my little take on the North Korea and South Korea thing.
Yeah, there's a biography of some guy who escaped North Korea, and oh fuck, the shit he went through. Oh fuck, it's real bad shit. Like real bad, to the point of like, I'm surprised you had any support for your country at all. Like, oh wow. Like, fuck, the shit was just brutal. But anyway, should probably just skip this topic and go to something, I don't know, a little more upbeat. I'm not looking at the thing, but I suppose there's an upbeat topic left somewhere.
Sorry, I tuned
mean-
out for a second. I've had a few rants tonight, and Jeff knows this for a fact.
Oh yeah, save the chicken.
How was Divinity this week, Josh?
Well, Divinity was kind of complicated because last week I said, "Hey, yeah, we haven't been rolling back anything. And this is pretty fine." But the thing that I did was really fucking dumb. Was so in one mission we got Mr. Peepers, and so basically what that mission was, we had to go save one. So my friend, he decided to choose the talk to animals perk. And because he could talk to animals, he would actually get more missions and stuff. So it's like, oh, cool. So we go and do these missions, we complete them, and we got this one mission to go save some chicken eggs. So we're like, okay, cool. So because this hen was missing all of her eggs, so we got the chicken eggs back. We gave them back to the hen, and then we went on our merry way and doing other adventurous bullshit. And then we came back to the chicken because something happened. We had to go back. And then turns out all the chickens were in this chicken area just died. Horrible, horrible fashion, just died. And I was like, huh, funny. But it turns out there's one egg just sitting there. We're like, oh, weird, it's just one egg. Let's pick this egg up. Oh, it hatched a black chicken. Pure black chicken. And it beeps, it cheeps like a baby chicken, although the model is a full-grown chicken, but whatever. And his name is Mr. Peepers. So we're venturing along with Mr. Peepers on our side.
Oh, god damn it.
So, every other time we go into combat, we just yell out, Peepers, go! Peepers, dive! Peepers, hide!
Save the precious child.
Save the Peeper!
God damn it.
him! Make sure he doesn't die.
Save the child! Save him! But the funny thing
Save
is...
the girl, Sonny! Save the girl!
Yeah, but the funny thing is, though, we've been adventuring with Peepers for at least some time, and there's one or two instances of, like, did Peepers just spoke, or was that something else? I don't know, but we're going to keep adventuring. Hey, what was that? Did someone just spoke again? Is that the fucking chicken? I don't know. It's just, is he gonna try to kill us later? Maybe. I don't know. We'll just keep adventuring. Just so now we're like, we like you, Peepers, but I think you have a devil inside you. We think you have a devil inside you, and then Peepers is like, beep beep, and we're like, oh. He's brandishing a knife, and he's like, beep beep, and we're like, he's so adorable.
He's so adorable. He's gonna kill us later.
He's gonna murder us in his sleep.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, so I can't wait where Mr. Peepers is fucking gonna lead us. Although, to be fair, like, the entirety of this game so far, it's been like, everyone is an asshole, depending on, like, what sort of race you chose, or what what race you chose, and how the people decide to see you in this, like, kind of semi-racist world. Because, it's fantasy. It's supposed to be, like, not high fantasy, but, like, fantasy to the degree of, like, oh, everyone has to live with each other, but they hate each other. So it's like, and it sucks with me.
So, real life, in other words.
Yeah, real life. So it sucks with me because, like, I like to play video games with we're all best friends, aren't we? And then everyone's just flipping me the bird and spitting me in my face. And I'm like, well, I'll still save you in the end, like, I guess. Could you just spit, like, not in my face? So they start spitting on my crotch, and I'm like, well, I guess it's better. I don't know.
He's spitting on your other head, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Man, I love the fact that anytime I hear people talk about Divinity and Divinity 2, I fucking hear nothing but good stuff.
Like every other mission is always like, oh, we don't fucking like your kind here. But then I go to one of my other teammates to talk to that person. It's like, oh, hey, how how's it going, bitch? Ah, he's so cool. We'll give you a discount. And I'm like, fucking, I just saved like your entire town, like not like an hour ago. You think you'd just give me a discount, but whatever.
They're just
like-
very ungrateful, Josh. Like, I see no problem in that. That's just business.
Fucking, it's like
I can't help but get a fucking giggle out of the fact that
It's gonna be really funny if we ever start playing the game.
oh,
yeah.
you're gonna
No,
start realizing how the
no,
systems
the
work.
reason why I love the fact that that Divinity actually is like, no, racism exists. Too bad. It's so bit sad. You're gonna have to fucking deal with it, boy.
Pretty much. And it's like, well, fine, you could be racist towards my other person in my team, but how about you give me a deal with this other person in my team? Since their bartering is up to fucking like 6 or 7. Fuck it, I guess we could deals off of that. Cause like it's so weird because now like I'm starting realizing how the systems work in the game and how like my guy is both a was it warfarer, a rare war. He's a war. Basically, it's just a battle mage, and I boosted up his battle mage perk so much that like, okay, I can almost learn anything in the battle mage slot. But the thing is weird about battle mage is that it's kind of weird. Like it's also fire type, so any moves I do, it usually kind of does fire damage. So when I start realizing, oh no, there's this enemy coming up and he's like a fire thing. I can't do half of my shit because we'll just heal him. So I'm like, fuck. Fuck. But luckily I have like the other team members to deal with it. And I think the most broken class in the entire game is Scoundrel and what was the other one? Thievery? Because you could just steal everything off of everyone's pockets, and you get the most broken abilities of like doing backstabs and getting instant critics or instant criticals on everyone, and also an ability to just immediately jump behind anyone you point your stick at. So it's like, I think I chose the wrong class because you can literally murder someone in one turn on full health and full full like magic armor and regular armor. Like you just deplete all of that shit immediately in one turn. It's like, wow. I should.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, oh shit, this is strong.
Wow.
Just Jeff, I am gonna request that you do cut in fucking the actual clip of fucking wow in right fucking when we did that. Just to fucking like get a fucking giggle out of us later.
Wow. Wow. Eventually in Podcast Studio 2.0, whether or
Just
not
have that
that's
wow
here or
button.
somewhere else. Yeah, I'm just going to have the wow button where I just flip a switch and it just goes, wow.
It's just a random wow each time you hit it too.
Wow.
It's either you,
Wow.
me, or or anyone else. Just wow, 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 wow.
Wow.
Cat sound, meow.
I
That
mean,
can't
it-
count.
I
counts.
mean, it could be worse. We could be talking about that, what was it? The bong that looked like a penis that was supposed to be an X-Wing.
Oh God, please no.
What? That was a thing?
Yep. But we're going to instead talk about something else. We're going to talk about El Dorito getting fucked by Microsoft.
And Nvidia and stuff like that. I think we can pretty much get like this podcast done real quick because we've been going for an hour and a half at this point.
El
Oh, no.
Dorito got fucked by Microsoft, and Microsoft made a statement.
What happened?
Microsoft. Basically, they got cease and desist.
Really?
Yep. And Microsoft said, like, we understand that people don't like this, but the reason why we're doing this is because we feel as if that it is not a very good thing for like most people to say. The assets were never free. That's the reason why we're doing this.
Yeah, it makes sense. And although one thing I have to wonder is how many mirrors is there on the online now just to download it? Like there's gonna be
Dorito?
tons. Yeah.
It's like they released the 6.0 update this year.
Yep.
And really at the end of the day, like I
here's
think
the
this
thing,
is
like,
really funny.
what I think, and well, I don't have a problem with Microsoft actually doing it. The DMCA strike against this
No, I don't.
company.
I don't either. I don't want to come
I
off as that.
as much as I understand why people are all up in fucking arms, they don't have the license rights to do it. Microsoft was fucking kind with them for the fucking last year and a half
Last
that it was been out.
3 years.
Yeah. But considering that like the cease and desist was put out today, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 2
It was
days
put
ago
out
when
in like
this
a few days.
well apparently the thing is fan made Halo PC patch meets his Microsoft's full legal muscle and apparently survives. And this was posted on the 25th. Today's the 27th when we're recording this. I will freely admit that. And lawyers arrive at Halo Online. El Doritos patch explodes. But no cease and desist yet. That was 2 days ago, which means the cease and desist must have came yesterday or today. And as much as I know, like, why people want to keep this fucking mod around and get to play it, and I understand all the stances behind this, I actually fully 100% like would go like, no, I would play Halo on the PC if Microsoft actually, if in my opinion, what Microsoft should honestly just turn around and do is buy the studio for the studio, and just go, okay, you now have legal right to make an online Halo game. And when the next game comes out, you will be in charge of porting over the multiplayer of that game, and that's over to PC, and that's all I do. But like, I understand why. I also understand why the cease and desist came. I 100% look at the reason why cease and desist came.
Oh, it's completely understandable. I think that the problem is that like everyone is just like so upset because with Microsoft because it's like, okay, then release Halo Online on PC.
Yeah. No.
That's really what that's really what people want is they just want Halo 3 on PC again. And like
I agree with that, but at the same time, what I think Microsoft needs to do is they need to get their fucking asses out of their head. Halo 5, okay, I was very kind with it earlier. I'm not gonna be kind with it. Fucking garbage. I loved it when it came out because like I hadn't had a good Halo. Like as much as I liked Halo 4. Halo 4 was fun. It set up a good premise. It set up a good story, and then Halo 5. And I'd been listening to like the alternate reality fucking podcast that they were doing, where it was like a reporter recording what was going on, and then the second half of the season was like an Oni's Black Ops officer going around and dealing with like insurgents and trying to figure out what was actually going on with the Master Chief. And they just fucking dropped the goddamn ball so hard. Like the plot points like that the reporter brought up was like the Master Chief killed a senator out in the fucking backwater world. He also killed a Sangheili senator during like a peace talks. He had gone rogue and attacked a military installation. The Oni officer was dealing with like insurgents and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, if this is what this story's gonna be about, is about like you playing as Master Chief going through like insurgents and backstab and like basically betraying the UNSC in a way that doesn't make sense until you've played the game, I'd be all up for it. And then the game came out and I'm like, well, the campaign was okay, but it could have been much better. And the online play, as much as like I didn't mind actually the idea of the card packs or the, what are they called? The war packs. I was okay with them for the most part because they weren't too bad. They weren't like absurd. You could easily earn a gold pack in playing 2 games of Warzone, and Warzone was the only area you used them in.
Yeah.
And then they actually introduced like a little bit later on, they introduced like PvE Warzone, and I'm like, that needed to be in there from the start. That needed to be in there from the start because that should be a really good way to generate revenue for regular Warzone, with the other Warzone being for much more competitive play. And they didn't need to do so many. And on top of it, like armor needed to be earned not through those packs, but they needed to be earned through like level and achievements. And the game and the online gameplay would have been fine at that point. but they made armor included in random drops. They gave them rarities and stuff like that, and I don't agree with that. Halo Reach has the best online gameplay, in my opinion, out of all the Halos. Halo 4 is very close up there, as well as Halo 3, because all three of them have very solid gameplay styles. Halo 4 introduced the mod packs. Halo Reach introduced Sprint, which fucking is a godsend.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Sprint was a big thing.
Yep. Oh man, you have no idea how fucking happy I was when I got fucking a hold of Sprint. I was like 10 out of 10, this game deserves a fucking win. And Halo 3, as much as I hate the fucking campaign for Halo 3, it had a really good online play and had phenomenal support, except it was very stale after a point with how its gameplay was. But
Are you
a
talking about
lot of
Halo?
games become like that after a point, even with the but like Halo 3, I think suffered the stagnation problem a bit more aggressively when it came to like how its like game releases were and all that stuff,
Well,
or
it's just like
its map packs. Sorry.
well, like Halo 3, like the thing that people don't realize is that came out the same year as Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4.
Yeah, Modern Warfare.
And,
Yeah, I guess Modern Warfare introduced the fucking perk system and stuff like that.
and I would sit there and say that Halo 3 basically, like, both of those games are really good in their own right.
Yep, they provide two different experiences for two different reasons, which is the way they should be.
And like the one thing I would sit there and say is I would say that Halo 4 is like not a bad game. I wouldn't sit there and say it's a good game, but I would sit there and say that like you compare it to like the
Are
trajectory
you talking about Halo? Are you sure you're talking about Halo 4 or Halo
or
Guardians?
Halo 3. I would say Halo 3 is just like
It's a good game.
yeah, like the thing that made Halo 3 really good is like El Dorado and stuff like that was Forge.
Yeah.
And like really at the end of the day, like it was much more fun just to sit there and say like, hey guys, let's play a game of Forge, and then just being able to be like, we're forging a map right now, and then we're gonna make a game mode, and then we're gonna play it.
Yep. No, that was the great thing about Forge, and I was a little upset when Halo 5 Guardian came out, and it didn't have Forge because Halo 4 had Forge when it came out, and I was like, why is this function just that's been included since Halo 3 onwards not in the game? I was actually a little upset about that. And then they released it in a DLC pack, and I was like, I can't get behind those anymore. On top of that, another thing with me for Halo 5 is I'm okay with some of the gun design changes. Like, I'm okay with the shotgun gun design change. I'm okay with the battle rifle, the assault rifle, the battle rifle, and the marksman rifle.
Mm-hmm.
How they were changed and how they looked in the long run. I'm okay with most of the Covenant weapon changes. I would have preferred things like from Reach getting put back in, like the needle rifle. God, the needle rifle would have been fucking great.
The needle rifle's the best weapon.
The needle rifle was fucking bullshit. I will freely admit that, but it was fucking fun to use.
It was basically the best weapon in that game.
I would have liked to have seen like the old Spectre put back in, the Warthog equivalent for the Covenant.
Oh, that one
from Halo 2. But that's the thing is like they're missing so much golden opportunities with these game franchises. Like the alternate reality game that they had set up on the alternate reality storyline that they had set up, where you listen to like these audio logs and stories and stuff like that, and like this, and just like we were listening to like an audio log of like this reporter and stuff like that. As I said, they had set up this really cool story about the Master Chief going fucking rogue, and then they didn't deliver on it.
And then you find out like he was right the entire time. It's like, oh, okay.
Not only was he right, him going AWOL isn't all that bad of an experience because he's a fucking Spartan. He's a Black Ops team member, and a lot of people are like, well, and I've actually heard somebody actually point this out to me, and I got really fucking mad. Is the Spartans were part of the UNSC? I'm like, no, they were part of ONI. They were a Black Ops development team, and ONI was created to snatch these kids to be the Black Ops operation team to make sure this happened. They like the Spartan 2s and Spartan 3s were originally just straight up ONI projects. Yeah. ONI in spite of Dr. Halsey, who was the original creator of the Spartan 2 program, kidnapped another Spartan, kidnapped the original trainer of the Spartan 2s, and stole a lot of her fucking research and stuff like that to create the Spartan 3s as a suicide unit. Like as a throwaway combat suicide unit that they would send on like basically one-way trips. And you know what? Like I love that story. I was totally behind it, but I want Halo to be good again. I really do. Make Halo great again.
What color hat is it?
It'd have to be black with a Halo ring.
Yeah, it'd have to be black, Josh.
It'd have to be with a Halo ring on the back.
Okay.
You know what?
It
There's
has
a
that
lot
same
of things
font?
I would like them to make great
exact
again.
same font.
Yeah.
Make Halo great again.
Yeah. Can we also have a make Quake again great again too?
Ooh.
Is Quake bad? The new
Quake
Quake?
Champions is okay.
Oh, well. Hey, it's better than what fucking happened to Halo fucking Guardians.
Everyone hates that game, and I kind of like it.
I don't mind the gameplay. I really do. The gameplay is solid. Like all the mechanics for the game are like spot on. The problem is the story for the campaign and the online bullshit.
Mm-hmm. I would have.
And that's
I
that's
just
the
like
thing is,
having a button that literally is double jump.
yeah, no, I'm actually fine with that. Like, I know a lot of people are like, well, Spartans couldn't do that before. I'm like, oh, actually, I've read, like, as much as I like the Spartans, they're wearing 1 ton of armor, and you're jumping like the height of a person. You're jumping the height of a person, and I'm like, and this armor is not augmentative armor; it's armor.
No, I always figured that there was like some stuff, cybernetics in there and stuff like that.
There's nothing of that.
Yeah, but like there's also a gel layer and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I get that, but but the thing is I've it's the reason why I can't get behind like people like saying like Space Marines from 40K would lose to Spartans.
No,
they wouldn't.
no.
They'd lose.
It would be a good fight, but it would be.
No, it wouldn't. It'd be over in fucking 10 minutes, at most. At the absolute most. Because anyways, we're not gonna fall into that rambling.
Yeah. Allan's
so
rambling.
What happened with NVIDIA?
What do you think happened with NVIDIA?
You aren't giving me answers. What happened with NVIDIA?
What was the thing I complained about last week, 2 weeks ago?
How NVIDIA was being a fucking twat.
Yeah. So guess why we can't see Coffee Lake? So Intel teamed up with AMD. All froze over, and they were like, "We're going to make a CPU and we're going to make a GPU partnership." So there was an Intel CPU on an AMD board that had like 8 gigs of HBM and stuff like that. It's a really good CPU. And everyone's like, "Oh, this is actually better than the closest NVIDIA CPU or GPU. This actually has better performance. This actually does a lot better." So because of the GPP, you're no longer seeing those processors anywhere.
Yeah.
This is stifling innovation in like a hilarious way. Like I would want, like if it was me, I would buy a Republic of Gamers like CPU, like laptop with that built in. Like everyone's just kind of being a dick about it. It's just stupid. It's all hilarious, and I just can't get behind it. Competition's good, boys, and this is not competition. So yeah, that's what NVIDIA is doing and stuff like that. They're just stifling innovation again, as per usual, and being a bunch of dicks. So,
you know what? I've just stopped caring because, like, if the market can do its fucking job, it will. But
but it's like the market's not even doing its job. The problem is like the market's just getting fucked by like a company that really just doesn't like the other one.
You know what? At this point, I couldn't care less. I like my Nvidias. I will freely admit that. But at the same time, I kind of just like look at the situation and
You're
So
a
you're-
fanboy.
not really.
Saying, so you guys saying like there's a Nintendo and Sega in the early '90s, and what they need is a Sony to come by and be like, "Oh, here's our graphics cards."
Well, that's actually what's
Deal with
happening
it.
now. Everyone's gonna sit there being like, "Oh, Intel's actually doing this. Intel's actually talking about making a graphics card."
Nice.
And then
aren't
they also
just-
grabbed this week. They also grabbed the architect of Zen.
Mm.
But yeah.
Is that
So
the
I
show?
think that's I think that's a podcast.
Okay. Thank you everyone for listening to the Black Mind Podcast. Have a good night, and hope you
We'll see you
enjoy the
next time.
show. You can listen to us every Thursday on podbean.com. You can also listen to us on YouTube and other stuff like that. Have a good night, guys. Thank you, Josh.